Hello and welcome to Spiritual Bloom, where we bloom within our consciousness, with your spiritual guide and twin flame coach Neha. In today's episode, we will be talking about the DNA light codes and its body symptoms. I have already uploaded a video regarding how does your DNA carry the spiritual gifts and codes you have inherited from your ancestors. This is the second part of it, which I am making it on request of one of my subscribers. She has been supporting me a lot, so I'm really glad and thank you. Please comment me where you are listening from so that I can know which are the parts and of the world that I'm connecting to. I'm really grateful. So I have tried my best to work on this second part of how does the DNA light codes, it shows up through your body symptoms. So let's begin. In the in every cell of your body there is a biological code which is known as the DNA. We all know that. But DNA is more than just genetics. How? Because it is inheritance through memory, adaptation and survival. Some people, they inherit this extraordinary physical traits. Some inherit disease risks and others carry biological gifts that shape intelligence, endurance, creativity or emotional sensitivity. And sometimes the body reveals these inherited codes through physical signs most people they don't notice. So today we will be talking about that. So just let me give you a brief description about what DNA is all about. We have been studying it in school and we know that it is the master blueprint of the human body. And every human carries approximately 37 trillion cells, and inside almost every cell is the same DNA code. This code is built from 4 chemical letters, that is A, T, C and G. These letters combine into sequences that form genes, and genes act like instructions. Some instructions, they determine hair texture, height, skin tone, muscle composition, hormone regulation and immune strength. Others, they influence how the brain develops and responds to the world. Humans share nearly 99.9% of the same DNA. Yet, the tiny remaining difference creates every unique person on earth. And as you all know, that your DNA is inherited 50% from your mother and 50% from your father. But inheritance is always not simple. Some genes, they remain silent for generations before suddenly appearing again. And your body remembers more than you think. So now let's understand that how the body acts as a genetic map. How does the genes, they act and react in your body? So your body constantly displays clues about your genetic inheritance. Some are obvious, others are hidden in plain sight. The physical traits that are linked to DNA are eye color. It depends on multiple genes controlling melanin production. Brown eyes generally dominate genetically, while blue or green eyes result from lower melanin levels. Height is influenced by 100 of genes. That's why siblings raised together can still grow to dramatically different heights. Hair textures like curly, wavy, straight hair patterns are strongly inherited. And facial structures like jaw shape, cheekbones, nose structure, even smile patterns often repeat through family bloodlines. Now let's talk about some rare inherited physical signs. Some rare inherited markers are surprisingly specific, which can be dimples, widow's peak hairline, hitchhiker's thumb, freckles and attached or detached earlobes. Even fingerprint patterns have genetic influences. Your body is essentially wearing your ancestry externally. So, we all know the physical traits which we inherit from our lineage, that is hair, body structure, height. Now, let's come to the gifts, the genetic gifts, which is the talent, strength, and potential. Now, many people, they ask, and the fascinating question is that can talent be inherited? The science suggests the answer is partly yes. It is not as a destiny but as predisposition. For example, athletic ability. Some elite sprinters possess genetic traits linked to fast twitch muscle dominance. Others inherit extraordinary endurance capabilities. But genes alone never create champions. Training activates potential. That's why I told you in the previous episode that just having these gifts inherited from your lineage has no effect and will have no, cannot be utilized until and unless you don't use it to your full potential. You have to train it, you have to activate that gift, then only it is going to work out in this 3D. Secondly, intelligence and creativity. Research suggests genetics contribute significantly to memory capacity, pattern recognition, learning speed, and musical sensitivity. Families often pass down creative tendencies across generations. But again, genes provide possibility, it's not certainty. A child may inherit musical wiring but without exposure to music. The gift may never awaken. So, why do I say that it is so important for you to understand and come into acceptance that you have a certain gift? And just coming into acceptance that you have inherited such gift from your lineage is not enough. You have to awaken those gifts. Otherwise, that gift is of no use. Thirdly, emotional sensitivity. Some inherited traits affect how deeply people process emotions and stress. This includes anxiety, sensitivity, emotional reactivity, empathy, and risk-taking behavior. The nervous system itself carries inherited patterns. That's why I always keep on telling you, you need to heal your nervous system. Because the wounded nervous system is not just your nervous system. The nervous system, you have been carrying it through generations. And your emotional responses may partly reflect generations of biological adaptation. Now, let's come to the part where you have inherited not just the gift, not just the physical structure, but also conditions and physical symptoms. Like everything has its own pros and cons. Similarly, DNA codes and gifts also has its pros and cons. The pros I have told you, and now the cons is that not all inherited DNA codes are beneficial. Some carry increased risk for physical or mental conditions, and the body often reveals warning signs early. One of them is cardiovascular inheritance. If a heart disease runs in a family, inherited genetic factors may influence cholesterol processing, blood pressure regulation, artery health. Secondly, diabetes risk, which is very common. Certain populations and family line carry higher genetic susceptibility to type 2 diabetes, which is very common nowadays. Then comes the autoimmune conditions. Genes can influence immune system behavior. This may increase risk for conditions like rheumatoid arthritis, lupus, and thyroid disorders. Lupus has also become very common nowadays. Then we come to mental health inheritance. Conditions like depression, bipolar disorder, ADHD, anxiety disorders can show hereditary patterns. But inheritance is not fate. Genetics may increase susceptibility while life experience influence expression. Now, let's come to a very important part in this DNA codes and gifts which has been inherited in your body, which is called the epigenetics. Okay, it's called epigenetics. Now let's understand what is epigenetics. Let me tell you that the DNA, it switches turning on and off like lights. Just like we on and off the lights, the switches, in the same way DNA also turns on and off. For decades, scientists, they believe that genes were fixed instructions, but modern science discovered something extraordinary. DNA and genes can be turned on and off, and this turning on and off like switch, like lights, of the genes and DNA, this field has been termed as epigenetics, meaning your lifestyle can influence how your genes behave. This includes diet, sleep, stress, exercise, trauma, and environmental exposure. Even experiences from previous generations may leave biological effect. Studies, they suggest that severe stress or famine experienced by ancestors can influence descendants through epigenetic changes. In other words, your biology is listening to your environment, and your daily habits may shape the future inheritance of generations after you. That's why I say that just inheriting any kind of genes or having a gift is not enough. You have to work on it. Just like it has been mentioned in this epigenetics term, that you can turn on and off. That means the key is in your hand. The key of your genes, the key of your DNA is in your hand. You can turn it on and off, but the responsibility is on you. How do you handle those genes? How do you handle those gifts? Are you capable of handling it, or you are going to shut them down? So the epigenetics teaches us that just having these inherited genes or DNA gifts is not enough. You should learn how to tame them through your lifestyle, through good habits, so that you come into discipline and also recognize the gifts that you have and use them. Use it for the highest potential. Now, humanity is entering a new genetic era. Scientists can now analyze genomes faster than ever before. Technologies like gene editing may eventually help treat inherited disease before symptoms appear. Personalized medicine is already being developed based on individual DNA profile. But these advances, they also raise ethical questions like, if we can edit genes, should we? So the DNA revolution is only beginning, meaning you have to understand your DNA, you have to understand your gifts, and you have to put them to use. You have to utilize them. It's only when you utilize them, they are going to show up for you. Your health, your gifts, your talents, they are going to show up for you only when you put an effort on all those things. So inside you, inside every person, there exists a code older than civilization itself. A biological story written across generations. Some parts give strength, some bring vulnerability, and some remain mysterious. Just understand that your DNA is not simply a destiny. It is also a foundation, and you are the builder of that foundation. You are the architect of that foundation. If your foundation is weak, your DNA codes, your gifts are of no use. So don't think that I have got this gift in my DNA, so it is my destiny and it is going to work out. It won't. It is a foundation. Your foundation has to be strong. And who can make that foundation strong? It's you. So you have to make your DNA's foundation strong. DNA, it is a map where you came from. and it is not a limitation on where you can go. Because while inheritance shapes the body, human choices still shapes the future. So you have to be mindful that how am I going to apply these gifts, these talents, and if you have any kind of inherited disease, how am I going to cure it, how it's going to be good for me, how it's going to be good for my health. You have to balance both the pros and cons. You have to balance the gift as well as the the diseases, the chronic diseases, autoimmune diseases which have been passed down through your lineage. And if you're smart enough, you are going to take care of both, and it is going to work out for you, especially the gifts. Now I'm not saying that don't ignore your health, but I'm saying that since we are talking about gifts most significantly, you need to utilize your gift, otherwise your gifts are going to remain dead. So I hope you like this episode on DNA codes hidden inside your body, which has been inherited to you, and you can make use of it if you really want to, if you really work hard, if you really understand what are the gifts and how you can process it, utilize it in this 3D. So if you really like this episode, please like, share and subscribe. Thank you for listening and tuning in. Thank you for supporting me, my channel. Thank you for all the likes, comments, shares, subscribes. Thank you to all of you for being a part of this Bloom family. And for any kind of personal guidance, you can WhatsApp or email me. My contact details have been given in the description box and mentioned in the video as well. I provide 10 to 15 minutes demo sessions before you book your counseling or guidance sessions. So if you are interested, you can WhatsApp or email me. Thank you for listening to me. I'll see you again in another episode.